on, guys? 8-Bit Glitch 79 here, and we've made it to the 8th day of the 12 nostalgic days of Christmas. I hope you're enjoying all the memories that have been shared so far by our wonderful guests and by yours truly. And with that, I'd like to start this episode off with our next giveaway. Now, this one is not necessarily sponsored by VGM, but there are some VGM swag in it that I have left over. And I'm throwing in the 2 sealed PSP games here as part of that giveaway. So, and to enter in this giveaway, in the comments below of this video, I just need you to put down below, what's your favorite Christmas movie? Other than Home Alone, because we've already talked about that one a lot. Another holiday movie besides Home Alone that is your favorite and why. So with that out of the way, I'd like to throw it over to our first guest. This is the first time I think he's been on my channel, and I'm so grateful and honored to have him on here. And that is my good friend Megadan29. A lot of you probably already know who Megadan29 is. He's the no death run king of the community. He has fantastic streams and is just a killer when it comes to video games. So with that, I want to see what Megadan's got to say about his nostalgic memories.
What's up, guys? It's Megadan29, and today I'm pretty excited because I'm finally in a video with 8-Bit Glitch, my good friend Sean. Thank you, Sean. And today we're talking about the 12 days of nostalgic Christmas. So the thing I wanted to pick out, and this should be a really cool video because I just get to talk about something that always means a lot to me. And it is going with my dad on the weekends. Me and my brother would go with my dad, and we would go to Toys R Us. And we never knew we were going to Toys R Us, because I think my dad was trying to feel out what we wanted for Christmas. And he kind of knew, but he wanted to see our eyes light up by some of the stuff we've seen, or what video games we were thinking about we wanted and stuff like that. And he wouldn't tell us that we were going to Toys R Us. He would just be driving, and I would notice, man, it's taking a really long time to get back to his house. Like, what's going on? So I'd like look around outside at the windows, and I didn't really know my way around so much. I was pretty small. This is probably around the Sega Genesis, Super Nintendo days, the 16-bit era. And I would see that big rainbow building freaking show up, and I'm like, oh my God, Toys R Us. Now see, my dad, he bought toys too, because my dad still has all his toys from all the 90s in the box in his basement. And he just has tons of toys. All the Aliens toys, the X-Men toys, Spider-Man, just you name it, my dad has it probably in the box, because everything he would buy, he'd buy 2 of. So if he bought us, like, you know, let's just say a Danger Room door for X-Men, he would buy 2 of them, 1 for him. But anyways, it just really reminds me of going back and not knowing that if we can get anything, which he always let us get something, but just going into that magical store and how much I miss it nowadays. And just looking, and the biggest thing I remember, and I'd love to have some of them if I can ever find them one day. And what it is those flip-up things that the games were in. So the physical game wasn't in there. It would just be a picture of the box art, and then it'd have this little ticket that had the price on it that was like yellow and blue, and it'd say whatever, you know, $50, like $49.99 or something like that, and it'd say for the game that you're looking for Golden Axe or something like that. And you'd flip it up, and it'd be the back of it. You could see what's on the back of the box art, right? It was just very nostalgic to sit there and look through all those and see what they had available, and it just seemed like as a little kid, there were so many games, you know what I'm saying? That just so many. And I remember looking at a bunch of Sega Genesis games and Super Nintendo and just looking through them all. And my dad, I would see my dad with 3 or 4 of those tickets, and we'd be like, oh, my dad's buying some stuff. And he bought stuff like Super Punch-Out and stuff like that. And we would just come home, and on the weekend we'd have all these games to play, right? Because my dad bought them for himself. The Super Nintendo was his house, and we had the Sega Genesis at ours. So it was just really cool. My dad would always go, yeah, you guys can get something. And we'd be like, yes, you know, and going back and looking at the figures. We used to like wrestling figures a lot. And just all that stuff. The X-Men, the Spider-Man, the Tick. That was another one. And just looking through that magical store. And I'm telling you, as I'm getting older and my kids go to birthday parties or they have their birthday party and I gotta buy things for them, it really stinks that nowadays you don't really have a place to go to that's like this go-to toy store. Because when Peyton, he's 12 now, and he was like 3, Toys R Us was still open, and I would always go there for Christmas and everything like that. And you just find all these random toys that you didn't even know existed, you know? So Toys R Us, man, just my most magical moment when I'm thinking of any Christmas time. It wasn't anything specific that I got. It wasn't anything like that. It was just my dad taking us there and us looking at all that stuff and just remembering how magical it was. And I just wish that someday I could like see what that was like again and just go back through it. And you know, they probably had demos of games playing, but I was so intrigued by the wall of games that I would just sit there and I would just look at them. And I can't even explain to you like which one I specifically got or anything like that. It was just that environment that was so like big for a kid, you know. It was so big, it was so crazy, it was so unreal, you know. And Toys R Us was just such a magical place. And when I think of that, my dad driving and bam, there's the building, I'm like, oh, that excitement that went through me was just something I'll never probably feel again. You know what I'm saying? That was just a very magical moment of your life, you know. And I think that's why we all sit here today and we all watch these retro game reviews and play these retro games and do what we do, because our childhood was very special, full of moments like that, where we had a lot of cool stores and we were surrounded by very cool video games and toys, cartoons and things like that, that we grew up in a very lucky era. You know, we had some of the best things, you know, and I just miss that stuff. I miss that stuff. So if my dad happens to watch this, thank you, Papa, for always taking us to there and Toys R Us and creating that moment for me. That was so much fun. And Sean, thanks for letting me on here, man. And it was just a lot of fun to be on here finally with you. And that's my most nostalgic times, guys. And I will talk to you later. God bless.
Thanks a lot for sharing that, Dan. Oh man, Toys R Us. Now, I never went to Toys R Us a lot as a kid. When I did, it was a very special occasion. It was maybe only a handful of times in my whole childhood because it was so far away from where we lived. But as I got older, I would actually go to Toys R Us as a young adult, and when I'm shopping for my niece and nephew and people and stuff, and it truly did make me feel like a kid every time I went in there. I couldn't help but want to touch and play with all the toys and say, man, I wish I had that when I was growing up. But yeah, if no other place in the world made you feel like more like a kid, no matter what age you were, than Toys R Us. So thank you for sharing that. Now with that, I'd like to throw it over to our next guest. She was on the channel a few times, and I think she was even on last year's season. So here is Linda, aka the Gamer Girl. What do you have for us, Linda?
Hey everybody, Linda aka the Gamer Girl here, and thank you again for having me on the channel, and I am so happy to hear that you were going to do this again. So let's get started. Now, I am nostalgic for where in the world, where in time is Carmen Sandiego. This is my original copy that I got back in the day. I had asked my mom if you could get me any game, please get me Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego, because I used to play the crap out of this game. I played hours every time I could. My family couldn't afford internet, and when they had internet, it was just for the cell phone. So whenever we had any chance to go to the library to play Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego or any other educational games, I snagged up hours. But you can't go when the library is closed, so I did have at the time a Game Gear, and I had a Master System converter, and I asked my mom, hey, can you please get me Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego? She did. She picked it up for holidays, and when I found it, it was in a mom and pop shop that sadly is no longer available anymore. She got it for me, and she even wrapped it and made sure. She was like, okay. And then when I opened it up, I was so surprised. I was so excited. I was like, yay! I felt like a brand new kid again. And the second one is from my buddy, Retro Mikey. He did a solid. I was looking for this forever. I can never find a good copy where it's not damaged or not destroyed. And I was looking, and for some weird reason in some areas, no matter where you go, there is always that one game that you can't find, and I don't know why. And that was this game. I kept looking for, and I didn't want to pay. And I don't know why people were like, oh, it's a clean copy, I want $100. And I'm like, why would you want $100? I don't know. So he did me a solid. He found the game, and I don't care if there's little nicks and dings and stuff like that. It was a great gift, and I am happy and truly blessed to have an amazing person who decided, you know what, I'm going to take a look, and found it, and, you know, just didn't ask for anything, just said, here you go. And that is what I was nostalgic for, so I'm going to give it back to 8-Bit Glitch 79. Thank you again, and I hope everybody has a great holiday. Bye, everybody.
That's an awesome memory, an awesome story. We do have some great people in this community that help each other out, and that's one of the things that makes it the best. The Carmen Sandiego games. Now, I remember playing that in grammar school on the Apple IIe computers. There's some games on there I remember playing, and I remember the TV game show I've seen a few times over at a friend's house and stuff. So that's my memories of Carmen Sandiego. So thank you for sharing those memories with us. All right, so now we've reached the point of the episode where I guess I need to talk. Well, my memory, I've kind of hinted to in an earlier episode, is about basically westerns, cowboy movies, cowboy TV series, and such, because that's something that me and my father shared a lot in. My dad is a big fan. He's a very big fan of western movies and TV shows like Gunsmoke and things like that. And so I remember I would come downstairs or something, he'd have one on, and I would get drawn into whatever he was watching, whether it was Gunsmoke or a cowboy movie or something, and I would end up just sitting there and watching the movie with him. And it's just those memories I'm always going to have of sharing those moments with him, and both bonding over love of the Western cinema movies. And so a few of them that I've enjoyed with him, I have copies of here. One is The Unforgiven. Here, the Clint Eastwood movie. Clint Eastwood was a big one for the both of us to watch. Of course, then there is The Pale Rider, was another favorite of ours here. And this one with Kevin Costner, Robert Duvall. Open Range is a more modern, but I mean, it's still pretty old. Was this like the 90s or something? But yeah, this one was a great one. I remember spending time watching that with him. But the one I think is my absolute favorite Western to date, and the one I remember watching a lot, I mean, we must have watched this a ton of times, and that is Clint Eastwood's High Plains Drifter. I loved it so much I had to get the Blu-ray version of it. Now, this movie is actually Clint Eastwood's first directorial Western movie. Not his first movie he directed, but the first Western he directed. I think it might have even been the second real movie he directed. The first one being Play Misty for Me, which is another great movie, but it's not a Western. But this was his second full-length movie he directed himself, and the first Western.
Sleep-it and range bums don't usually stop in Lego. Life here's a little too quick for him. Maybe you think you're fast enough to keep up with us, huh? Faster than you'll ever live to be.
And my God, the story of this is fantastic. It's kind of got like a twist ending. I don't want to talk about it too much in case nobody's seen it and wants to see it. But it's basically the essence of it is that there's this gang who takes over this town, and they're running the show. It's a mining town, and this gentleman shows up out of nowhere. a stranger, the High Plains Drifter, and he basically shows the town that he's this tough guy and that he can help them, and they beg him to help, but he doesn't really want to help. He plays tough, so he tries to teach them how to defend themselves, and it kind of works out but doesn't work out. And in the end, he has to save the day, of course. And it's through the whole movie, he never says his name or who he is. And at the very end, they ask him, and that's where the twist comes in. And I don't want to give it away. So I highly recommend this movie. If you're a Clint Eastwood fan and you've never seen this movie, you owe it to yourself to watch this. Not only because it's a great story and a great movie, but it's Clint Eastwood's first Western directed movie. So you really need to watch this. I highly recommend this. But this one, me and my father must have watched so many times. I've lost count. So with that, it holds a special place in my heart of all Westerns that have ever been released. And I'll always have, that memory watching with my dad. And we still talk about Westerns from off and on. We bring up this one or other ones. So yeah. So that's my pick for this episode. I hope you appreciated that, and I hope you hit that subscribe, hit that bell, hit that like button, and stay tuned because we got, so many more. We got like 4 more to go. So, wow, we're reaching the end, reaching that finish line. So until next time, guys, this is 8-Bit Glitch 79, and I'm glitching out.